Welcome to the Trail Times podcast with Big Bear Events. This is going to be a roundup of TrailFest Salcey Forest. So we're going to go straight into the clips that I took while we were there. 3, 2, 1. Have fun, everybody! Purple arrows! Purple arrows! Did you say blue? I'm out on course, having just started the half marathon runners and the 10k runners off. I'm hoping that in a moment I'm going to see my first runners following these purple arrows, so I can then get round. This is about 2 miles in. I think I probably slightly overestimated how quick they're going to run, but they should be coming through here soon. I've massively overestimated, so I'll come back in a moment. I didn't overestimate it that much. First 10k runners coming through. Going all right, guys?
Yeah, good.
Purple, purple,
Right,
purple,
yeah.
purple, purple, purple.
Thank you.
Going okay?
Good.
Well done, guys. Keep following the purple. Got this far. Well done. This is amazing. Seeing all the runners, all of those people coming down. How are we getting on?
Good.
All right? Excellent. So we're about 2k, just over 2k
Thank you.
into. Well done, guys. 2k into it. But look at that big train. 10k and half marathon runners, all enjoying Salcey Forest, which is amazing. This section is only about 100 meters into the route. Last year, absolute mud bath. This year, near perfect trail conditions. You can start to see some of the 50k runners coming through on their second lap already, so they are bombing it. All right now, Andy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just added an extra 2 miles.
Sorry, well done. So Andy came through in the middle of the marathon race briefing, having missed the first left turn. I think, well, the arrow's definitely there. The issue is, as you can see, I'm walking into the sun. I think with the sun shining behind the arrow, I think he missed it. But everybody else got round. So 2 of them missed it, but everybody else got round. Going all right?
Yeah.
Good man.
Not in day differences.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Did you do it last year?
No, I did it February, March.
Ah, well, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't think you'll have got much of that. But essentially the guy just said he was out here in February, March, and he can't believe the difference underfoot. And he's 100% right. This was, people sent me videos being out here, and it was an absolute mud bath just maybe even 6 weeks ago, and I thought, oh, we're gonna have another slogfest. But this is just beautiful trail. So I'll try and get some bits during the day, try and get some people out on course, try and get some people finishing, and hopefully get some good people having some good fun. At the finish line now, about 55-ish minutes into the 10k and a half marathon. Obviously, you know, half marathon finishers, but lots of 10k finishers coming in, which is excellent. Really nice bit of hubbub at the end. Lots of people supporting, which is just really nice to see. Love it, absolutely love it. This is lovely. It's really nice with all these 10k supporters coming out, and they're just clapping everybody who's coming across the line. Obviously, we've got the people doing 50k and doing the marathon that are doing lots and lots of laps. These 10k runners that are finishing now, just doing the 1 lap. And so, you know, it's all a bit different, but it's a really nice atmosphere, very supportive, lots of kids, dogs, everyone being sensible, wonderful. And a bit later on in the morning, the crowds are out now for the half marathon finishers, which is, again, it's just really nice. There must be, I don't know, 25, 30 people here, just clapping everybody who comes across. It's a lovely little boost for the marathon runners and the 50k runners as they come around as well. It won't be like this when they come to finish, unfortunately. There's not quite as many people doing that, but it's just lovely. Lots of people doing it. Their first ever trail running, first ever half marathon, first ever 10k, and yeah, lots of lovely stories. So hopefully I'll try and get some after run stories from people, but it's, as always, a little bit trickier than maybe it should be, because I don't want to ruin having nice chats with people to then stick a GoPro in their face. But loving it. Really good day so far. Right, so what are you lot doing?
We are here cheering on Amos.
What this she?
Amos, male. He's doing the half marathon. He's a runner at Stomp and Chomp, and we're here to support him.
Excellent. Has he done the sort of distance before?
No, he hasn't.
I don't think
so.
Excellent.
We run 5Ks usually, so.
Nice. At the end, make sure he picks up his first half marathon patch as well. We've got little patches for people to do their first. This is awesome. Look, they're all carting kit. This is amazing. It's good. So are you going to get out on the course and see him?
Yeah,
We've got a power up.
Yes, we need a route.
Yeah.
Where can we cut them off next?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to sort these guys out with the route. How did you get on today?
Oh, it was really good. It was amazing. Nice course, nice scenery, beautiful sun, beautiful
What distance?
weather.
Half marathon?
Half marathon.
What have you done previously? You done that distance before and
I
you done
have
similar?
done half and I have done a full marathon, but I actually do CrossFit currently, so it's
Right,
just
okay,
trying
okay.
to get back into running again.
Yeah. So have you run here with us? Have you run with us before?
I haven't, no.
Oh,
First time
brilliant.
today.
And you're in merch. Even better. Right, good. So have you done trail running before?
No, very different actually. A lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but a lot nicer
What?
scenery.
Hang on, let's look at your shoes. Right. So we've gone out in. Oh, you've got these are traily shoes, right?
They are?
Yeah, good. Because the course today was lovely.
Yeah.
Really, it was I guess the biggest thing was probably trying to work out whether the mud
You're
was
right.
soft or hard, right?
I think it was that, and
You
it
have
was
your
at
ankles go a
certain
bit?
points. My ankles did go, and there were certain points I thought it was harder, and it wasn't, and it went straight through.
Yeah, so it was sort of in that little window where some bits are soft, some bits are hard, and you
Yeah.
just can't quite tell. And that's where your ankles either can take it or break.
Yeah,
it's-
absolutely,
but it's
but they
good
are not broken.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, look, it's not broken. Excellent. But good deal.
Very good.
We're getting towards sort of the middle, I guess, or the back of the half marathon. Again, nice big crowd. It's lovely seeing the people that have finished, and they hang around to watch other people finish. There's two lads that have come into the finish line just here. So listen, beautiful, isn't it? Everyone clapping them in. Really, just a lovely atmosphere. Really lovely atmosphere. The sunshine definitely helps. TrailFest Salcey Forest is nearly over. So I am recording this while I think we have two maybe people left out on course. They're going to be a little while, so I thought I would do something useful in the meantime. It's been genuinely an amazingly good day. Probably one of the best events we've ever put on, I think. It helps with the blue sky, obviously. It helps that underfoot it's good conditions, especially compared to last year. I mean, it is still, so again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sort of going across these bits, they're sort of a bit rutted. So we get a lot of people at this event who it's their first ever trail running event or their first ever 10k, and so, you know, it's not that I'm super experienced at all this stuff, but I've done a fair bit of it, so to me this is sort of quite benign. But if it's the first time you've done it and you've only ever done parkrun in a city centre, this is sort of really quite different. The whole idea of your you know, your ankles going all over the place and this, that and the other, it is different. So I do fully appreciate that, and it's just great conditions. If this is your first experience of trail running, you know, you've started on a high. Hopefully it keeps getting better, but this is definitely a good way to start doing it. But it's been great. The attitude of everybody that's crossed the line, absolutely superb. Volunteers, absolutely top drawer. We had a little girl who came with her dad, 7 years old, and she gave out medals to pretty much every single person that finished, and she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like I said to her dad, absolute credit to him. I think my kids probably would have got bored a lot sooner than she did. She never really did. I had to sort of send her home. It's been incredible, really, really good. So every single person involved has just made this an absolutely cracking day out in the woods. So we're definitely gonna return. We're definitely gonna do this again. I don't know yet. I'm still sorting out my 2026 calendar. I'm trying to work out when it's going to be best to do this event. I don't think it's going to be this time of year again, because we lucked out today, absolutely lucked out. But we've had some shockers here in the past, and I don't want to do that again. So, and I've also realised, I might have mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but I don't know if I'll have said anything. I've realised that this weekend seems to be the weekend that every single running company puts on their first lots of trail events. And so I probably could have had an extra 30% people here maybe if it was on a different weekend. There's so many other people with events on. And obviously you're competing with London Marathon, Brighton Marathon, all that sort of stuff that's coming up. So I think potentially we might move this into the summer so that we are guaranteed beautiful trails, hopefully some nice weather as well. But I can't move it further into the winter, because if this is an absolute mud bath, I know trail running's about mud, but it just wasn't fun last year and the year before. No one really wants to be doing that. So I've got to push it into the summer months, warmer months. And so I think that's going to be the plan, but I'll work that out over the next week or two, I think. But it's been great fun. It's just so much joy. And yeah, I've absolutely loved it. So I will do some more chat after this. I might even do a tiny little record of the finish once we're all done. But it's been great fun. I've got a few clips of people that I was chatting to, only a couple though, because I just couldn't really find the way to sort of grab people, as it were, during the day. And I didn't want to sort of spoil the good vibes by sticking a GoPro in their face, because it's just been amazing. They had the first few bits of feedback on Race Check as well. People that have just never done events before, or never done trail events, not done similar things to this, and I've loved it. So I would be overjoyed if we have created some future trail runners, whether they come back to do Big Bear stuff or whether they go off and do other trail events, whatever they want to do. Hopefully they do other ones, they realise that I was put on really well and lots of care and attention is put into it, and they come back to us eventually. But you know, it's just really good when you have a day like this that has just worked. All the things that needed to happen have happened. Pretty much no dramas. I might talk about some of the minor hiccups that we had, just because it's always interesting to get a bit of behind the scenes stuff, but nothing that hasn't been able to be sorted out. Nothing where I've had to be particularly stressed. It's just really nice. Yeah, so I think I'll do a tiny little bit once we're all packed away, but other than that, we'll throw back to me, probably standing in the office, I would imagine, trying to get this all out as quickly as possible so it is topical content. As promised, back to me sitting in the office and recapping effectively on what was, as I said a lot of times, an absolutely glorious day at Salcey Forest. It really was just great fun. Everything went as it should do, pretty much. I'll go through a couple of little hiccups we had, but nothing particularly dramatic. So many people have said how much of a great day they had. I'm going to read through some of the Race Check feedback we've had so far, which is always really lovely to read, but it definitely means something a little bit special when it's just people that are completely new. They've got no idea what Big Bear is, who I am. they don't know it's a big company, a small company. It's just they've seen a race that's just outside Northampton, and they're gonna come and do it, which just sort of hits different to when people know that you're a small little company and you're trying to do your best, and you leave reviews in a different way, I think. But it was great, and the conditions, I said it a lot, the conditions really were good, which meant that quite a lot of the course records were broken. So I just went through and had a little look, and the marathon, the half marathon, and the 10k were both beaten. Sorry, I'm confusing myself here. The marathon, the half marathon, and the 10k time were beaten in the men, and the same marathon, half marathon, and 10k time were beaten for the women's times. Surprisingly, the two 50k times from last year are still the fastest ones. I would suggest if the two people that ran it last year did it against yesterday, they would have got considerably better times. I forget who it was, but somebody crossed the line for the 10k. They'd done it last year and they did it this year, and it was a 19-minute improvement. They put some of it down to the training, but they said at least half of it's down just to the conditions on the course. It was just great, and I sat and I spoke with, I didn't catch her name, our CrossFitter, and I picked the trainers up, and they were clean. People were coming in with clean trainers, which is just night and day to last year, where it was just an absolute mud bath. So we're going to move it into the summer. I think I'm going to sort of try and put this in I think July time. No, I don't. I think the end of June time is where it's going to sit nicely. There's loads of competition. I alluded to it on that last clip about this weekend seeming to be the busiest weekend in trail running. I don't know if statistically that bears out, but it's a lot busier than it was a month ago. I noticed locally that there were lots of event companies. I mean, just my Instagram feed personally was full of events that were happening over the weekend, to the extent there was even one that used Salcey Forest yesterday that ran through it, the Rose of the Shires, I think it is, that does the Northampton round. And then there's Coventry Way on as well. So that's two sort of 40-mile ultras that are very local. So that sort of takes away from people wanting to come do 50k with us. So it's impossible to have your own weekend in trail running, because there's just too many events that are happening for that to ever happen again. Used to be like that before my time. I know I'm part of the problem, not the solution, I guess. So I don't want to have my own weekend. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm sure there's going to be strategically better ones to use. So we come back there in the summer, guaranteed to not have absolute mud bath. Even if it's raining, it won't be winter weather. And I'm looking, hopefully, well, I'm going to go tomorrow to a venue that potentially could fill this little gap of a sort of early spring, late winter TrailFest event. So watch this space. That's very early days, so I don't want to jump the gun on that one by announcing anything that hasn't happened. I've had one phone call conversation that went very well, so hopefully something will come of that. But great performances yesterday. But in all of those clips, if you're watching it, you'll just see that I've got a little grin on my face, because I just can sense that people really enjoyed it. They really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I'll read some of the race check reviews. A lot of them start with my first. So my first trail half marathon, and so glad I did it with Big Bear Events. It was organised, fun, the aid station was well stocked, and the route was lovely. I'll be back. I mean, it's perfect. Like that's exactly what I put these events on, is to get feedback like that. Another one, first time half marathon, great event. Pre-event communications were very good. The sign in on the day was well organised, and the route very well signed. We'll come back again. So the route being signed, it's always a slight problem with this event, because without overcomplicating it, effectively there are 3 laps that people can do, and if you're doing the 50k, easy, follow red arrows, just follow red arrows. If you're doing the marathon, you do 1 lap following yellow arrows, a little 2-mile mini lap, and then 3 miles following red arrows, easy. If you're doing the half marathon, you do 2 laps of purple. If you're doing 10k, 1 lap of purple. Easy. All sounds easy enough. However, the posts that I use to put all the arrows up on are the Forestry England posts that have all of their normal waymarked routes on. So on some of the posts, there are like 1,000 arrows of all different colours and shapes and whatever. Mine are quite distinctive in that they've been cable tied on rather than sort of they're not permanent. So I think they're quite distinctive. We didn't have people, as far as I'm aware, particularly getting confused in that aspect, apart from the first 3 in the 10k who had followed my arrows beautifully for 9.9k and then took the wrong arrow at the end and ended up cutting off quite a lot of the course. So they were first 3 over the line, but they'd unwittingly cut, 3/4 of a kilometre off the course. So there's no intent to cheat at all. Like there's not even a consideration. But they did cut off a decent chunk of the course. So I've allowed their times to stand, but I awarded the first, second and third to the first, second and third that completed the course the right way. It's not how I want to do events. And if they'd finished halfway down the pack, maybe it's not really as big a deal. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's just when you're giving out awards to somebody and you give them a big trophy and they didn't actually do the route, it sort of just hits differently. But I wouldn't want to, there's no prize money involved. I don't want to disqualify people for genuine mistakes. And I could see what their mistake was. They'd followed my arrows all the way around, and then on the last one, they followed one of the Forestry England ones. And then, from what I can make out, it was the lad that was winning who then drew the other 2 with them. And I did tell everybody in the race briefing, don't follow the one in front. You've got to make sure you follow your own signs. So it's an easy mistake to make. But what can you do? So hopefully it didn't leave a sour taste for them, because I don't want people leaving the event like that. I don't want them to have got round, thought, this is brilliant, and then some arsehole ruins it right at the end. So hopefully that wasn't the case. They seemed annoyed, but I think more with themselves more than with me, or not as much with me anyway. But they sort of took it in the right way. We also had, so I spoke with Andy when he was out on the course in those clips, and alluded to it there where he went wrong. So that was fun / not at all, when during the marathon race briefing, half an hour after Andy and the other 50k runners had gone, him and another guy just run through the middle of the race briefing, which effectively meant they'd finished the lap, but that would have meant they'd have done 8 miles in about 25 minutes, which obviously you can't do. So I'm thinking, my whole course is ruined. And effectively what had happened is at the end of the straight where I think I tried to explain in the video, but at the end of the straight where I was chatting, the sun was quite low, and effectively they couldn't see the arrow because the sun was behind it. So I think a few of them did follow Andy. I said in the clip it was only them 2, but I think a few of them went, but they got shouted back. And then a regular and a favourite of ours, Graham, was then leading the 50k, and I think he quite enjoyed being in the front, even if it was only temporarily, and only because quite a lot of the runners had gone the wrong way. But you get a real heart in your mouth when you know that, or when you think that arrows are missing, because it's just as a runner, obviously you want to be able to just run and not worry about the course. And my whole thing with all of my events really is I don't want you to have to carry a map or have the GPX or know the forest or the woods like a local. I want you to be able to turn up to somewhere brand new, we'll mark it, you come and run, and that's all you've really got to worry about. So there's an expectation that that's how it should work. So if there's arrows that are missing, the course sort of flows, but it's not an obvious route at all. So without the arrows, you've got no hope. So you need all of those arrows to be there. So as soon as he sort of came in, I effectively ran, because they were the only 2 that had turned up, and we checked the course in the morning. So I knew the arrows were there at one point, so I thought, I hope they are still there. And Andy knows the route as well. So I said to him, I ran him back out to the first corner to make sure there was an arrow. I said, right, go there and then just do the first left, because that's what he'd missed. He'd missed effectively the second arrow. I don't know where he'd gone after that point, but I think he'd done about an extra 2 miles. He did then finish second, I believe, so he did all right in the end. But it's just, when you think that the route might not be right, when those first runners come back, you just get a sense of joy, because you know, right, if they've got round, everybody else can as well. And it just makes your stress levels just drop that last little bit, and then they sort of keep dropping throughout the day until the last runner comes in, and then you know it's all good. But it was just really good fun. So, but apart from that, I don't think we had proper issues out on course of anybody going the wrong way. It's trail running. Part of trail running is slightly going the wrong way. Part of trail running is your watch not being exactly the distance that it says. So the 10k measures a tiny bit long. I think the half marathon measures a tiny bit short on your watches. I have the same conversation with people every single time, especially, and it's really useful when people do laps as well, because when you then look on your Strava or Garmin or whatever it is, if you're doing laps and you took the same route, because why wouldn't you, then you should have lines that are exactly on top of each other, but you don't get that. Instead, you get lines that weave over each other as the GPS picks you up. Well, each of those little weaves means it's measuring slightly differently. And it's just the way it is. And it's not, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's guaranteed to be exactly 10k if we got the trundle wheel out. That's not how it works at all. I'm sort of got a fixed site. I can't sort of plough a load of trees down so that I can get my 10k to be exactly 10k. It just doesn't work like that. And before, I was having a conversation with somebody as well that spoke to me about it on the day, and before GPS watches were everywhere, when you turn up to a marathon, it was going to be somewhere between 20 and 30 miles. You sort of took a punt that the organiser got it about right, but there's no way it would have been within 0.1 of a mile unless it was on road. The whole point of trail is it's a little bit more forgiving. I don't know, not the right word, but it's not as strict as road, right? If you want to be measuring things to the meter, looking at your watch, making sure you're within a tenth of your target time, get on the road. Like, just don't bother with trail running, because you've missed the point. But it was great to introduce a lot of new people to trail running, and I hope they come back. That would be the dream, is that they come and do one of ours for the first time. They're like, right, this is brilliant. I like trail running. They go and do some other ones. They're like, I like trail running, but I think that Big Bear one was better. I'll find another Big Bear one to do. I've already had emails from people today saying, oh, all your other events seem to be midweek. Do you have any more at the weekend? So obviously I've gone back to them explaining how all that works. But, that interest, despite the fact potentially they might go somewhere else if they can only do Saturdays and Sundays, that interest is brilliant. And it's just great to try and introduce people to trail running. And we've got there were people running that were experienced runners. So it's not as though it's a complete newbie event. So it caters to both, obviously. But it is a friendly atmosphere, right? All of those video clips, people are just supporting each other. There's one of these feedback as well on Race Check. So this was my first trail run and it was perfect. The organisers, volunteers and other participants were all so friendly. Other visitors of the forest were also cheering people on. I mean, it's brilliant. So rather than sort of having loads of barriers up and excluding the general public, you can sort of get involved. And it was just such a lovely atmosphere. And I think what sort of helped is that because we had 300-ish people there and however many cars, there probably weren't that many people that were able to get in at 10 o'clock because the car parks are quite full. So that might mean that there were slightly less people there in the morning. Come 11 o'clock, midday, quite a lot of those people had left because they were doing the 10k and the half marathon. But it was a great day. And it was brilliant. And from last year we had the 50 miler and we dropped that out. One, because of numbers, but also, again, my whole thing is people doing what they want to do and not being pressed for time. However, I don't really buy into not having cut-offs because I've got a team of volunteers there that want to know when they're going to go home. I've got a family at home waiting for me that want to know if I'm going to be home for bedtime. So I want to be able to give people plenty of time. I don't want to be the reason that they don't finish, but I also want to know when I'm going to go home, which is why I'll put it out here. I don't think I'll ever do a backyard ultra format because I cannot handle the concept of not knowing when I'm going to go home. I like the fact that we have a cut-off. I like the fact that hopefully it's not a barrier to anybody who is going to come and run. So our last 2 finishers were 45 minutes inside our cut-off. I hope that there was no point when they were worrying about being cut off, because I don't want that to happen. The 50k option with an incredibly long cut-off is brilliant. So I'd hope, and I'd hope somebody would tell me if I was wrong, but I would hope that the cut-offs on the 50k at TrailFest, both at Salcey and at Cannock, don't put people off, because that would be annoying if that was the case. But it's a great weekend, really, really good. The first time we've had somebody come in and actually do the timing for me as well, which meant that I could sit around and do media stuff, and I could send out post-race emails at the event without having to worry about looking at people coming in. And it was great. It worked really, really well. So you'll see those guys again at the Cannock Chase event as well. It's just makes my life so much easier, so that worked really, really well. We had a little bit of fun where it just didn't pick, one of the runners didn't get picked up at the finish line, and so we were then a little bit worried that I'd given out the second place marathon trophy to the wrong person, but we couldn't work out who it was. So we knew that we only had a third place trophy left, and so we gave it to the person that I was 99% sure was third, but I couldn't work out who was second. But we worked it out in the end. A little bit of the dark arts when it comes to working out time and equipment, but we did work it out. I did get it right. I've made that mistake before. It was awful. So that was probably the most stressful part when it came to the timing for the day. But it was just so nice to be able to hand that over to somebody else, and so I could concentrate on the actual events rather than purely on the timing and then trying to do bits of the event as well. So it worked really well. So we will return. The next TrailFest will be Cannock Chase, September 13th. So that won't be muddy. I was going to say it'll be dry. I can't guarantee it'll be dry. But underfoot, Cannock Chase doesn't really get super muddy on the course that we use anyway. I'm sure in the depths of winter it is, but autumn, spring, it is a good course, a sort of an all-year course, so it's nice. And we'll return with Salcey Forest next year. Like I say, I think probably in the June slot. I want to sort of see how the Cannock Chase in September goes, but I can't really wait that long, so I'll probably end up releasing it beforehand, and we'll go with June, and then we'll keep with Cannock in September, and then I might try and put an extra TrailFest in, I don't know, sometime winter, spring, but I'll have to see. So we'll have to see what happens with that one. The next event that we have coming up is the Bat Challenge. I'm going to do another podcast sort of next couple of weeks, just trying to explain the Bat Challenge a little bit. It's a bit different. It starts at 6 p.m. in the evening, and then it's a 6-hour event at Beacon Hill Country Park, so near Loughborough, Leicestershire way. And it's brilliant. So you'll get a few laps in during daylight, then it'll be dusky, and then it'll just be pitch black with you and your head torch. Obviously your Petzl head torch, the best head torches. It'll be great. They're really good fun when we do these events. It's really well supported when we go to Beacon Hill, so I'm hoping we'll get that as well. We've got decent numbers so far, but obviously hoping for some more, because that's just how this game works. And yeah, so you'll hear from me soon, but TrailFest was just so much fun. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope you're sitting there smug with your medal, feeling like you were part of one of the best days we've ever had, because you were. See you soon.